Kay Publications v. Bridges is a famous privacy case. Hilda Bridges, after being kidnapped and held hostage by her estranged husband for hours, was then rescued, taken across the parking lot, and this picture of her was published in Coco Today. Let's do an analysis of all 4 privacy torts and see if she can win any of them. We'll start off with the private facts tort. Remember, this is also known as true but embarrassing facts. So for this tort, Bridges will need to prove that Coco Today published intimate information about her without her consent and that the intimate information wasn't newsworthy. Again, what you're looking at right now would be a really thorough scenario answer. So by writing this, you're telling me you understand what the elements of the private facts tort are, and you're actually applying it to Hilda Bridges' case. Clearly, the photo is an intimate moment. She's naked and traumatized. And she certainly didn't give consent for this photo to be taken, except there's one problem. The crime and the impact it had on Hilda Bridges was absolutely newsworthy. In fact, this picture is an amazing and prize-winning piece of journalism. I mean, look at that. That tells you so much more about what happened to her than words could. So one defense is that this is absolutely newsworthy. It has unusualness, it has conflict, it's newsworthy. But there's a second defense as well. Anything that happens in public, it is no longer a private fact because it has taken place in view of the public. So there are 2 really strong defenses against this. And really, this case is about the private facts tort because we feel sorry for her. But at the end of the day, she was in public and she was part of a newsworthy event. If Bridges were to sue for false light, she would have to go for either distortion or fictionalization. So when you do these scenarios, as I said in the screencast, I want you to tell me which one is more applicable. Distortion, something that's out of context, or just straight up fictionalization. In this one, fictionalization makes no sense. But if this photo had actually been out of context, that would be distortion. Of course, we know it wasn't. It was presented as the news of the day. There's no way she has false light. So again, look at the elements. I've actually said whether it's distortion or fictionalization, explained that with complete sentences, and explained why she doesn't have it. Okay, so this is our paparazzi tort, and I'm sure this, along with the private facts tort, was one that she really hoped to get. But of course, a successful intrusion lawsuit is going to hinge on Bridges convincing a jury that she had a reasonable expectation of privacy. Ethically, yeah, there's a question there of, should we be intruding on this woman's extremely traumatic moment? But in terms of legal obligations, the second that she was visible from a public sidewalk, she was fair game for reporters and photographers. The airtight rule is there's no reasonable expectation of privacy in a public place. As I've said, because of this public place defense in both private facts and intrusion, students will often get the 2 all muddied up. And that's why it's really important with privacy to hold on to the phrases. Publication of private facts is about intimate information that's being published without consent. Intrusion is all about the reasonable expectation of privacy. There's a little bit of overlap there, but they are distinct torts, distinct rights. So you don't have to worry about it as long as you hold on to those phrases. You'll be totally fine. Misappropriation is not going to fly because misappropriation is all about the commercial use. So obviously her likeness is here, but this was news. There was no commercial use of her likeness. And the courts have rejected the idea that a newspaper can engage in commercial use by carrying news that might sell more papers. That does not fly with the courts. So even though it's her likeness, even though it's without consent, it's obviously not commercial use. So you can see for each one of these that what I'm looking for is for you to actually handle both the concepts that come out of the torts and the scenario. I want to see that you see how they all go together and can articulate that.